If a woman never initiates contact, you have to stop lying to yourself about why it's happening. We often create convenient excuses, telling ourselves she's just overwhelmed with work, she's not a phone person, or she's simply shy. However, in the modern world, everyone is glued to their phone. If she has time to scroll through social media or reply to her friends, she has time to send you a quick text. When she consistently chooses not to, it isn't an accident or a personality quirk. It is a deliberate choice that reflects her current level of interest. By making excuses for her, you aren't being understanding. You are actually telling her that your time and attention have no cost and that she can have them whenever she wants without putting in any effort. The way you handle this silence is the ultimate sink or swim moment for the relationship. If you continue to chase her and fill the gaps she creates, you are signaling that you have low self-worth and that you are willing to work twice as hard to keep her around. This behavior might keep the conversation alive for a few more days, but it kills her respect for you. Women are naturally drawn to men who have boundaries and who value their own energy. When you stop making excuses and start holding her to a higher standard of mutual effort, you shift the dynamic. You move from being a fan who is constantly auditioning for her time to a man of high value who expects a partner to meet him halfway. Reclaiming your power starts with accepting the reality of her actions over the comfort of your excuses. The most common trap men fall into when faced with a lack of effort is the urge to overcompensate. When she goes silent, your internal alarm goes off, you feel the connection cooling down, and you instinctively try to warm it up by increasing your own output. You might send a good morning text, share a funny meme, or call just to check in. While you think you're being a consistent, reliable man, you are actually teaching her a very dangerous lesson, that she doesn't have to do anything to keep you. By rushing in to fix the silence, you remove her need to try, to wonder, or to invest. You are essentially doing the work of two people, which makes you look frantic and low value rather than stable and confident. You must understand the psychological truth that human beings rarely value what they don't have to work for. If your attention is always available, regardless of how little she gives back, it stops being a reward and starts being an expected chore. It's like a song played on loop. Eventually, it just becomes background noise that she tunes out. To regain your standing, you have to stop being the one who bridges every gap and repairs every crack in the conversation. You must let the silence exist as a neutral space. By refusing to fill that void, you allow her to actually experience the absence of your energy. It is only in that quiet space that she can begin to miss you, wonder why you've stopped chasing, and finally reassess your true value. When you make your silence intentional, it becomes louder and more powerful than any text message you could ever send. Think of a healthy relationship like a mirror. What you put out should be reflected back to you in equal measure. If you are sprinting toward her while she is barely taking a step, you aren't building a connection. You are chasing a ghost. This creates a massive imbalance that destroys attraction because it makes you appear desperate. Matching her energy isn't about being petty, cold, or playing games. It is about maintaining your self-respect and keeping the rhythm of the interaction alive. If she reaches out, you respond with warmth. If she asks to see you, you make the time. But if she is distant, you must mirror that distance. By staying in step with her level of investment, you ensure that you are never overextending yourself for someone who isn't willing to do the same for you. When you take it upon yourself to do all the heavy lifting, you are actually doing the relationship a disservice by robbing her of the chance to participate. Attraction needs space to breathe, and it requires both people to feel the thrill of the pursuit. If you are always there, always texting, and always making the plans, she never gets to experience the excitement of wondering about you or the satisfaction of earning your time. There is a huge difference between showing healthy interest and overcompensating out of fear. Interest is confident and inviting, while overcompensating is needy and suffocating. By simply mirroring her effort, you gain immediate clarity. Either she will notice the lack of your extra effort and step up to fill the gap, which resets the relationship to a healthy, balanced level, or she will remain silent, proving she wasn't that interested to begin with. In both scenarios, you win because you either save the relationship or you save yourself from wasting any more energy on a dead end. The moment your mood shifts based on whether or not you see a notification on your screen, You have officially handed over your personal power. If you spend your day checking your phone every 10 minutes, feeling a surge of anxiety when she hasn't replied, and a brief addictive high when she finally does, you are no longer in control of your own life. This state of waiting creates a subtle but palpable energy of desperation that people can sense from a mile away. It shows up in how you text, how you talk, and how you carry yourself. Real attraction is never built on a foundation of emotional dependence. It is built on the strength of a man who is centered in his own reality and doesn't need external validation to feel complete. When you make her response the focal point of your day, you become a passenger in your own life, letting someone else sit in the driver's seat of your mental well-being. To fix this, you have to grab the steering wheel and redirect that wasted mental energy back toward yourself. You need to become so immersed in your own growth, whether that's hitting the gym, crushing your career goals, or deepening your friendships, that a delayed text message becomes a minor detail rather than a catastrophic event. When you stop making her the center of your universe, an interesting shift happens. She will feel the withdrawal of your obsessive focus. People are naturally drawn to those who have a sense of purpose and a life that is moving forward with or without them. By finding your happiness in your own progress and your own mission, you become a man of higher value. You are no longer a slave to a ringtone. You are a man who is too busy building a legacy to worry about a read receipt. Handing your emotional remote control to someone else is a choice, and reclaiming it is the first step toward true independence. There is a fundamental law of human nature that many men choose to ignore. Nobody can miss you if you never actually leave. If you are constantly texting, checking in, and making yourself available at the tap of a button, you become a permanent fixture in her life, like a piece of furniture she passes every day but no longer really sees. In the world of attraction, constants are almost always taken for granted because they require zero effort to maintain. To be truly valued, you have to become a variable, someone whose presence is a gift, not a guaranteed service. Many men are paralyzed by the fear that if they stop reaching out, she will simply forget they exist. But you have to realize that if a woman's interest in you is so fragile that it disappears the moment you stop pulling the weight for both of you, then there was never a real connection to begin with. You weren't building a relationship, you were just performing a solo act. Stepping back and allowing absence to do the work isn't about being petty or playing immature mind games. It is about restoring a healthy equilibrium. Absence is the only thing that provides real clarity for both of you. When you stop providing those predictable good morning texts or the evening check-ins she has come to expect, you create a vacuum. In that silence, she is forced to confront her true feelings. She starts to wonder why the energy shifted, whether you've lost interest or if someone else has caught your eye. This curiosity is the spark that allows a woman to actually crave you again. If she truly values having you in her life, she will eventually step up to fill that silence with her own effort. However, if she remains completely quiet, you have received the most important answer of all. By letting absence do the work, you either reignite the flame or you realize the fire was already out. Either way, you stop wasting your life chasing a ghost. When you find yourself in a cycle where she always replies to your messages but never actually starts a conversation, you are stuck in the gray zone. This is a frustrating middle ground where she provides just enough attention to keep you around as an option, but not enough to prove she truly values you. It's easy to get lost in the hope that things will eventually change, but you deserve to know exactly where you stand. Testing her interest isn't about being manipulative or playing games. It is simply a reality check to see if there is a mutual connection or if you are the only one holding things together. By pulling back and stopping your constant stream of effort, you aren't being mean. You are simply giving her the space to show you who she really is and how much she actually cares. To get this clarity, you have to stop being the engine of the relationship. Stop sending the first text of the day, stop being the one to suggest weekend plans, and stop checking in just to keep the momentum going. Just pause and observe. If she truly values the connection, she will notice the sudden drop in energy and she will step forward to bridge the gap. She will reach out because she doesn't want to lose your presence. However, if your silence is met with more silence, then you have your answer. While it can be incredibly painful to realize that someone you like isn't willing to put in the work for you, that clarity is a massive gift. It is far better to feel the sting of the truth right now than to waste another 6 months being someone's backup plan or a source of free validation. In the end, actions are the only language that matters. If she wanted to talk to you, she would find a way to make it happen. At the end of the day, the way you are treated is a direct reflection of the standards you have set for yourself. If you continue to pour your time and energy into a connection where the other person gives you nothing back, you can no longer blame her for her lack of effort. The responsibility shifts to you for choosing to stay in a situation that diminishes your worth. A man who truly values his own time and emotional well-being does not beg for a reply or settle for crumbs of attention and call it a relationship. When you tolerate being treated like an option, you are essentially telling the world and her that you don't believe you deserve anything better. Raising your standards is about drawing a line in the sand and deciding that your presence is a privilege that must be earned with mutual respect and effort. Many men fear that raising their standards will leave them lonely, but the opposite is true. It acts as a high-quality filter for your life. By deciding that you will no longer chase anyone who isn't willing to walk toward you, you aren't losing people. You are simply clearing out the space that was being occupied by the wrong people. This shift in mindset completely changes your aura and how you are perceived. You stop being the nice guy who is always waiting in the wings and start being a man of high value who has too much going on to wait for someone who is half-hearted. The right woman, the one who is actually worth your time, will never make you feel like you are a burden or leave you guessing about her intentions. She will invest in you because she sees your value clearly. You must respect yourself enough to walk away from any table where respect and effort are no longer being served, because staying only proves to her that you don't value yourself. Ultimately, the situation is very simple. If she never reaches out first, you must refuse to chase, beg, or diminish your own worth just to stay on her radar. Your time and energy are the most valuable assets you own, and giving them away to someone who doesn't prioritize you is a disservice to yourself. By choosing to stop rewarding her silence, matching the effort she actually gives you, and reclaiming your emotional independence, you move from a position of weakness to a position of total control. Let absence perform the heavy lifting and use that space to test the reality of her interest. When you finally raise your standards and decide that you will only entertain mutual high-effort connections, you fundamentally change the dynamic of your life. When you implement these changes, one of two things is guaranteed to happen. Either she will notice your withdrawal, realize your value, and step up to meet your new standards, or she will simply fade away. If she fades, don't view it as a loss. View it as a successful filtering process that has cleared a path for a woman who will actually respect and invest in you. Either way, you come out on top because you are no longer a slave to someone else's whims. You have preserved your dignity and taken back your power. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to pull back from a one-sided connection to see someone's true colors? What happened when you finally stopped chasing? Let's talk about it and share those experiences in the comments below.